Welcome to the Jennifer Sheehan Show. I'm Jennifer. I would love to hear from you. Go to thejennifersheehanshow.com. Connect with me on social media. I would love to hear your comments. Today, I would love to introduce you to Vicki. Hi, Vicki. Vicki
Hello,
Adkins, Bill Adkins, and Bailey Adkins. So good to have you all three on the show today. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us.
So today's show is about a senseless tragedy, and what a story you guys have. So let's start with, what type of kid was Brett? I know he was a junior in high school in Plano, and what kind of kid was he?
Well, Brett came into this world with just so much energy, just nonstop, go, go, go. I knew he had to have ADD when he was born. That kid just ran circles around me. But as he grew up, he had so many friends. He was infectious. He would light up a room when he entered it. He would demand your attention. When he came in the room, I'd be talking, and Brett's like, "Wait, I'm here. Look at me." But he was so funny. His sense of humor. I mean, there was times where I was so mad at him, and he'd make this smirk, and I'm like, whatever. But anyway, he was just such a fun-loving kid, and just was so impressionable. And everybody that knew him, kids and parents alike, all said he was the most friendly kid, and he took time out of his day to go and make those friendships with adults and all of his friends.
Right, so he didn't meet a stranger?
Never, never.
I think I would have really liked him. I'm kind of like that.
Yes,
Big,
yes.
huge smile. Like,
Yes.
I mean, like, still to this day, he has the biggest smile I've ever known. And then the other thing that was, to me, that was unique about Brett, and we'll probably talk about it later, but he was a protector of people that were either getting bullied or underprivileged. He was just that protector. He went out of his way. As a matter of fact, at high school, Officer Scott, who was kind of the Plano, he used to use Brett to help the kids that were getting bullied. He would come to Brett and go, "Hey, this guy's getting bullied. Can you?" Again, Brett was a big guy, right? So
Right. How tall was Brett?
6'3", 220, 230. And he was just turned 17, so he still had some growing to go. But so he had this, and he worked out with me a lot. So he had this presence where other kids weren't going to say much to him, right?
Right.
And so that's why Officer
And a
Scott
football
used
player.
him. Yeah, and a football player. So Officer Scott used him as kind of like the high school
To-go boy.
to-go boy.
Yeah, he loved Brett.
So he loved football?
He loved football, like nothing I've ever seen.
What number was he?
27.
Which is your favorite number now, right?
Yeah, it is my
Yes.
favorite number.
So what was he like in football?
He was, one of those kids that was just super privileged. He was big, so he wasn't necessarily fast, but he was, he was very aware of his surroundings, kind of like we talked how he was with. He had a presence, right? Because that's just who he was. And in football, when you have a presence like that, everybody was always, hey, I used to go to the games and they go watch 27, watch for 27. And so, I mean, he had a presence.
It sounds like you were so proud of him.
It was, yeah.
I love that. And then he got a concussion. When did he get his first concussion?
When he was 13, he had his first concussion, and then another one in 14, and then another one when he was 15. And the third one was what they categorize them like a hurricane, and one was not very bad. The first one was a 2, the second one was a 3, the last one was a 5, which is as severe a concussion as you can have. It was terrible to watch it on the field. I actually saw it. Two big kids, he was playing end, and another guy a guard was coming around the end, and I mean, they hit helmet to helmet, and they both dropped. They both had concussions, and they just both laid on the field for, God, it seemed like forever.
And what did the doctor say?
They said, "You can't play football anymore, son," and they said, at the end of the day, if something like this happens to him again, you know, the chances of him becoming a vegetable are extremely high.
Wow.
And so it was for a
So
parent.
he didn't have a choice.
Yeah, tough one.
So
Yeah.
no football. So I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, he threw. I mean, I won't tell you what we went through for the first couple of months over that decision.
Because football was everything to him.
Football was everything.
So him being told he couldn't play football anymore, it was just really hard on him.
Yeah, and I bought him golf clubs, and he's never picked them up. I use them now. I mean, I tried everything to try
to give him another like hobby or something else
an
to
outlet, right? To, you know, keep him busy so that, you know, he didn't get sidetracked. Because
Right.
when he was playing football, I mean, it was like get up in the mornings, football, you know, go to school, which was secondary by all means, right? And then play football, right?
do. Right,
And then on the weekends, it was like all they did was play football.
right.
Everywhere
so
he
everything
went.
was about football. And Bailey, as his sister, so you taught me a new word today that I didn't really know on social media. So your
Yes.
brother was really into social media and lots of friends and so forth. And so what would he do on social media?
Brett was just the type of person that just kind of wanted to show off the lifestyle that he had. It's like kind of a word they use for the Instagram called flexing.
Okay, never heard that word.
So just kind of like being a little bit more materialistic than others, but you know, a lot of people in today's world don't see anything by it. You know, you want to have the coolest clothes, you know,
Right.
what's going on. And I don't think it's never out of like anyone's harm's way. They just, you know, it's like basically the cool thing to do. You know, you want to have, you know, the coolest things and stuff like that. So
So he likes showing off
Yes,
his Rolex
yes.
and
I mean,
Gucci
who doesn't
shoes
like to
and-
look nice and want to look cool?
We
I mean,
all want to
yeah,
look nice and
exactly.
have our cute little outfits on,
So,
and so, but but it is putting it out there
Yes.
to the public when you do the flexing
Yes,
and
it is.
letting people
Some-
see what you have. Good people and bad people that are
Yes.
watching you on social
Uh-huh.
media.
And yeah, exactly. Sometimes you don't know who's following you and who's looking at your every move. So
Wow.
that definitely could be an issue.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's what ended up being an issue for us.
Right. And you've at one time you've owned 6 car dealerships, correct?
Yes, yeah.
So 6 car dealers. So you do pretty well.
Got 5 left. Oh yeah, no, that's
So you do pretty well. So he had a lot of nice stuff to flex.
he did.
So,
He
but
would
I think
sometimes even be taking my watches and wearing them because
He
they
would.
were like unisex. So he would just kind of trade.
interesting. I love that. When we come back, a drug deal that went terribly wrong.
The Jennifer Sheehan TV show is real people with real stories of redemption, miracles, and overcoming. This is a TV Christian show that gives God all the glory. The show is a 501c3 nonprofit, giving back 100% of donations towards the Jennifer Sheehan TV show. We also partner with Operation Care International, serving and supporting the homeless. In a world that is spreading fake hope, only Jesus Christ and the Holy Bible have the supernatural power to change people and their circumstances. Production for the Jennifer Sheehan TV show is extensive, and we need partners to keep it on air. If you believe in our cause, please prayerfully consider to be a partner for a $20 donation a month or more. May God bless you.
I've always believed that trust is one of the greatest compliments someone can receive. When our clients trust our team to handle one of their largest financial decisions they'll ever make, we take that very seriously. Having been in the business for over 36 years, I know that trust does not come easily, it has to be earned. Our team is committed to providing the best real estate service possible with the ultimate goal of having a seamless transaction and as little stress as possible. Let us show you why we are the best in the business.
Welcome back to the Jennifer Sheehan Show. Okay, so this is the hard part of the story. So your son goes to do, they say it's a drug deal, but really it's marijuana brownies, right? He was going to sell it. And he went from Plano all the way to Irving, which is like a 45-minute drive, which is just crazy in itself. But you said that the people that were meeting him for this drug deal at a school in a parking lot He had his girlfriend with him. The two came, and it wasn't really a drug deal. When the drugs came out, they're like, we don't want that. So what were they wanting?
That's a good question, Jennifer. It's just hard to wrap your mind around a kid that is so blessed and privileged and came from a life that went to church, and he just I think Brett thought he was invisible, maybe a little entitled, but just going to do something because nothing's going to happen. The fact that his girlfriend was with him at the time, when they got there were two boys that came out in hoodies, and it was just like, it was sketchy from the get-go. And when Brett showed them, I think it was brownies and gummies, whatnot, they just thought, we don't like this. This isn't real. This isn't the real stuff. And then one thing led to the next, and the words came out. One of the boys got in the back seat of the truck, and the locks went on, and it freaked the kid out. He was trying to get out the front to get outside. So anyway, they ended up outside the truck. Brett and one of the boys and another boy, they started to fight, and Brett's got them both in a headlock, and he's just going to pound the crap
Right, so
out of them.
these guys were young, right?
At
I mean,
the time,
they were young,
18
but they
and
were
19.
small.
Yeah, they were 18 and 19.
18 and 19.
They're
And they,
both
but they were
very,
small.
very,
already.
very small, like
And
compared
then
to
here's
Brett.
your son.
He was a
6'3",
monster compared to these
230.
two boys. Yes,
Yeah, no, I mean, literally he weighed twice as much as both of them together.
yes.
So I'm sure that they didn't plan that. They're like, oh
No.
dear,
Well,
what do we do with this?
and that's what happened. I mean, they expected Brett just to succumb and give him all his stuff, and
Right.
I don't know what Brett said, but I kind of know in my head. I know my son,
Right.
and he told him, heck no, but
Yeah.
probably not in that. And one of the kids came at him, and Brett just overcame the guy, and what we hear and what we read in the autopsy was that Brett was pounding the kid in the ground, and the kid became afraid of his own life and had a gun in his like what do you call a little pouch, because he had a hoodie on, a sweatshirt, and just pulled the trigger because he was in fear of his life, and the bullet went through his underarm, through his lung, and through his heart.
Wow.
Not the other side.
And this
Out
was
there.
on Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, yeah. 9/17. And they tried to put him back together for 4 hours.
Wow. I'm so sorry that you guys had to go through this with your son. I have a 18-year-old son, and I can't even go there. I can't even think about that with my own son. So when I heard your story, it breaks my heart.
It's your worst nightmare.
It is, right?
It's
Oh,
your
losing
worst-
it.
Nobody
losing.
would ever think that they would lose their son or their daughter. That it's not the way it's supposed to happen. And especially Brett. I mean, he almost had me thinking he was invisible. His line was always, I got this, I got this. And I'm like,
Invincible.
stop saying you got this, you don't got this. God's got you, right?
Right. So that was one of the words that he used. I got this.
Yes.
Oh, all the time. Every time hey, you got a big test tomorrow. Dad, I got this. Hey, you got a big football game. Hey, Dad, don't worry, I got this. I mean, that was his phrase. As a matter of fact, that phrase is on my airplane, and that's one of the stories that I had to go away because I got super depressed. And every day I went to work, I went and bought a gun. And I went to a different gun shop in East Dallas I probably bought 40, 50 guns. And I'd go sit in the field and, think I was going to kill myself. And God used to say, hey, you can't do that. You got these two.
Right.
And so I had to go away, and thank God it helped, fixed me. And that's one of the things that they told me to do is that when you get back home, you got to face your greatest fear. My greatest fear was flying, and so I learned how to fly. I bought my plane. It's kind of cool because it's tail numbers 27 Bravo Mike, which is Brett Mac, and underneath my window it says I got this. And for me too, because when I was, first couple times I got up here and I was fine, I was scared to death because I hated flying, you know. And now here I am,
did it.
and it's just not a little plane; it's a pretty big. As a matter of fact, when I went to flight school, they actually questioned. The FAA actually called my instructor and said, "This guy's never owned an airplane, and he's bought a Pilatus PC-12. Are you kidding me?" They're going like,
Go big or go home.
Yeah.
"That's it. No, that's exactly it." And it's funny. This weekend we're taking a bunch of friends down to the ranch, and they're all getting in it. It's funny. They all trust me. But it was one of the things that I learned is, we all have. Just like this, losing your son, I could have ended my life and ruined everything for everybody, or you could turn it into a positive.
Absolutely, absolutely. When we come back, they got the phone call that no parent wants to receive. The Jennifer Sheehan magazine is both printed and digital and sent out to hundreds of thousands. The printed version of the magazine is strategically placed in local affluent businesses. The digital version is emailed, placed on social media, and promoted on the Jennifer Sheehan TV show every week. See digital magazine, packages, and prices at thejennifersheehanmagazine.com.
I was constantly bombarded with this message that said, you're a young African-American male, you need to be a thug, or you need to be a hustler. My mom would take my brother and I to the movies to detach from our life. Michael Bay's film, The Rock, came out, and I was just blown away by this portrayal of men who were going in to go sacrifice themselves to save others. I thought, if I was to ever turn my life around, that's what I would do.
It is estimated that 26 million Americans have an organ-related problem. At any one time, there are over 100,000 people in the United States waiting for a life-saving organ transplant. I'm a walking miracle. 27 years ago, I was blessed with a perfect match for a heart transplant. But millions are not so lucky. A heart can only be kept for up to 6 hours before transplantation. This is where the David Nicholas Organ Donor Awareness Foundation provides help. We offer free housing for those waiting for a life-saving transplant who travel to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, among many other life-saving measures. But most importantly, we offer love and compassion from a recipient's point of view for those waiting for their transplant. Please visit nicholasfoundation.org and learn how you too can spread love. Please join us and be a hero and help us save a life.
That day is coming.
Welcome back to the Jennifer Sheehan Show. So you get a text from your son's girlfriend. What did the text say?
It was from Lily's mom, and she says there's been an accident. Brett's been shot, and I don't have a lot of details, but I mean, what in the world? What happened to my son, right? So we had just gotten back from a vacation, and my husband was sleeping, and I woke him up and I said, "Look, we've got to go to the hospital. Brett's been shot," and we flew there. I don't even know how we got to the hospital, but we made it there, and we were in the waiting room for 3 hours. And I'll never forget these nurses or women that were volunteering saying, "We're going to need a Christmas miracle." I go, whatever. Brett is invincible. Nothing's going to happen to him. This kid, it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks recovery, and we'll figure it out.
Well, and your faith.
Yes. If it wasn't for my faith, I would not get through any of this. You can't get through life without faith. Mm-hmm. And that's why I am where I am, because I have the faith to know where Brett's at.
Right.
For sure. The greatest gift I gave Brett was the gift of salvation, and that's how you can get through tragedy, is making sure your loved one is secure and they're in heaven. And
Absolutely.
I will get to see him again.
Be reunited someday.
Yes.
I just can't even imagine how you felt when you got that news from the doctor.
Yeah, for over 3 hours, you're sitting there you just in disbelief.
Yes.
And then, of course, as it goes longer and longer, you begin to say, well, it's worse than what we thought, right? You know, when we didn't know he was shot, you know, the bullet went through, you know, a couple of lungs and a heart. And they spent 3 hours trying to put him back together, and they couldn't.
Right.
And that news
that's
seemed
what-
to be forever. When they came in, the doctors, didn't it seem like he stood there for an hour before he said anything?
Yeah.
And we're just looking at him like, what's going on? And he's like, I did everything I could. Your son didn't make it. And you're like, what? That's impossible. That's impossible, Brett, that he didn't make it. And so he asked us if we wanted to say goodbye. And I mean, just in complete disbelief. And I said, yes. And I truly believed, because of my faith, that I was going to raise Brett from the dead. I can do this. Like, Jesus, you said I'd do greater things than you would even do. So I commanded him to rise. And I realized that, I don't know, I've never died and gone to heaven. But if you go to heaven, who would want to come back to this earth, right? It's got to be paradise. And there's no pain, there's no tears, there's no nothing. So the way I look at it is he went to sleep and immediately he was with the Father. And now he is cheering us all on to get there. Whatever we got to do, just get there. And I believe that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we it's kind of, it's weird in that he sent, you know, they say they don't, you know, he sends signs all the time. I mean, it's almost bizarre how many times we see the number 27 or just the things that come up. Our new place, we were on the 21st floor, and after Brett passed away, the guy on the 27th floor vacated it, backed out of the deal, so we end up on the 27th floor.
And what channel is my TV show on?
27.
27.
Of all, I mean, just
And I
everywhere you
came to
turn.
you when I
Yes.
found out your story, so
No
Everything-
coincidence. No
Yeah,
coincidence.
there is none. I mean,
Very
there can't be
interesting.
that many, and that's one of the things that makes me feel good, or at least, you know, gives me hope that, as I know that, you don't see him
that you'll
again.
see him again.
Yes.
And so you started a charity in his name. Well, first of all, he actually died on Christmas Day. So what is Christmas like in your family now, Bailey?
So it's kind of, you know, not what Christmas is like. We don't really celebrate Christmas. I mean, we'll always, you know, celebrate the holiday, but we just kind of like skip it, you know. It's just not the same. Like, me and my brother would get up, you know, early morning, maybe even before the sun comes out, race downstairs, you know, always compare who got the best gifts or who got more all that stuff. And it's like, it's funny to think about, you know, like that we were fighting over gifts, but I would do anything in this world just to have that moment to fight with him.
Right.
And, you know, who wants to fight with your brother? But I crave that, you know, and that I don't have that anymore. And I mean, it's not like fighting with my parents, you know, so I definitely miss that sibling. And so we just kind of, you know, just be with each other on Christmas Day.
Right.
And, you know, try to get through it the best we can. You know, there is no wrong or right way to do it. We just do it as a family. Now, it does help going somewhere else, but, and not being here on Christmas Day because it's very hard, but we definitely try to get past it.
And so how do you as a family, how do you move forward from this?
Well, you know, the charity helps. It really does. To me, it's very reassuring and relaxing to know that, you know, Brett owned one of my car dealerships, and so at the end of the day, he had some money, and to be able to use the Brett's money to help other young kids.
And what exactly is the charity? You give so many scholarships. How many scholarships?
27.
There goes that beautiful number again.
There it is.
So you give 27 scholarships to kids to help them.
Get through
Go to
college. They're underprivileged.
But they had to write an essay and apply for it, and they're $5,000 per scholarship. Yes, and you know, giving kids an opportunity. Some of them are first time, you know, in their family getting to go to college, and it's just such a beautiful blessing to see that being paid forward.
Right. What's the website for your charity?
Brett Adkins Charitable Foundation. .com.
Thank you so much. I know it's hard for you guys to come on my show and talk about your story, but I know it's going to help others that don't have the strength to come on and share. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story with me.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
When we come back, how you also can move forward from a tragedy.
Most people didn't know I was missing my legs until I got out of the pool. I just liked beating these girls with legs. I started getting sponsorships and winning awards, signed a deal with Nike, and I'm in Sports Illustrated, reached the next gold medal, set the next world record. That's where my worth was. But at the same time, I was just broken and sad a lot. And I just think I just couldn't do it alone anymore.
One of the worst days of my life was when I was told that my 7-year-old twin son, Johnny, had cancer. Over 300,000 children are diagnosed with cancer every year. The Kids Shouldn't Have Cancer Foundation is determined to end pediatric cancer. Your gift of $15 a month will give these kids a voice they deserve.
Just if you see this video, thank you. 'Cause I'm just a kid.
The world is becoming a divided place. Political discord, racism, and war are tools of hate. But we can stand against this. You will have the unique opportunity to participate in the March of Remembrance, an event that brings people together for education, healing, and reconciliation. Be an upstander. Take a stand against anti-Semitism and hate. For more information and to register, go to www.mordallas.org.
Welcome back to the Jennifer Sheehan Show. I believe only God can give you the peace when you have a tragedy. If you haven't received Jesus as your Lord and Savior, pray with me. Jesus, I know you died on the cross for my sin. You rose again on the third day. Please forgive me for my sin. I receive you as my Lord and Savior. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Tune in next week for another incredible story.